I love the tinkling sound of running water, so I went out to check some of my favorite creeks before they all freeze up. I started here on Big Hill Springs Creek, a little further upstream than usual, and I saw all these magpies picking on bones dumped by a hunter. I really wish hunters wouldn't do that, but I got a couple of magpie pictures out of it. It was a gorgeous day out in the foothills. Sunny, fairly warm, a little bit breezy. And here up near the headwaters of Dog Pound Creek, the water was still flowing pretty freely. I love the convolutions up here, those meanders just about touching each other. And of course, the sound of that running water. From here I had planned to go a little bit further into the foothills, closer to the mountains, but then I remembered a little creek I haven't visited in a fair while. So I went there instead. It runs through a really narrow coulee, just a little bit south of Water Valley, and it's all spring fed. It never runs very fast, it never runs very full, but it always runs pretty. It's especially nice right now with all the fallen leaves and the green moss that never really fades. And of course, the sound of that water. Accompanied now by the sound of the wind in the tall trees. Didn't quite make it down to the bottom of the coulee, but you could hear it. Those clicks and creaks you hear, that's the trees moving. Interesting. I love this little stream. It's barely even a kilometer long, but it's so packed with interesting things. And things that are still pretty green given this time of year. And there were bones here too. Somebody dumped a couple of deer carcasses a few years back and just left them. Here though, they're going right back into the soil, and well, that's a good thing. But this was just a brief detour on the way to the creek I'd actually planned to go to. And that was Herald Creek, which is where I found this very nonchalant young stallion. Wild horses are pretty common up here, but you don't often see them quite so close up. This guy barely gave me a glance as he walked by and just kept on going. From the looks of things, the beavers have really been putting in a lot of work this past summer. The upper parts of the creek were practically a lake. And there were plenty of smaller dams as well, which is, of course, good for the tall grasses and the willows that grow here. And they made for some pretty nice reflections. But by 3:30 in the afternoon, the sun had already sank pretty far in the west, so I turned around and headed back. Ran into the little stallion again. He was just hanging out, letting the breeze blow his mane around. And, from the looks of things, getting a little bit weary. Me? No, I was still good. But with the sun going down, my day on the creeks was done. But I had heard enough tinkling water to fill my dreams. Now I've got to remember not to drink too much tinkling water, so those dreams don't get interrupted.